In 1979, the Bay Meadows Handicap, the San Francisco Mile in 80, the Bay Meadows Derby that year. This year he's been riding well again, Joanne.
Gonzalez is always a consistent rider up there. As I mentioned before, you usually see him on the lead. Guess he's picking up this mount for Chad Schwaneveld up there. Not a horse that has had a lot of speed in the past. Exactive Fear is stretching out today, usually running in sprints, trying to go that 1,700 meters today.
Interesting runner, I noticed, as we mentioned, Deputy Delegate Gary Stevens was on board last time, ran second on that occasion.
The horse has been running down in Southern California at Hollywood Park in Santa Anita. Had a very strong second last time, about 2 lengths ahead of the rest. So if you had taken the winner out of there, you would have had a 2-length winner with the Gary Stevens horse, Deputy Delegate, and he looks like he may be a winner today.
Joanne, as far as a few of these other runners go here, in particular, I suppose Deputy Delegate again is one of them, but runner number 3, it's by a sire called Defensive Play, who stands the Southern Hemisphere season, Tony, I think in New Zealand, and he's going well down here as well. How successful is he up there?
Defensive Play, we haven't seen a ton of his horses. He's a good sire. He was a very good horse down here. He stands with you, does he?
Yeah, during our Southern Hemisphere season, he comes to New Zealand to Waikato Stud.
Got the tractors going by here. Apologize for this extra noise, but Saya Ben, the Defensive Play baby, is a Turf Paradise shipper. That's a smaller track, a small circuit in Arizona. This horse has run with winners twice, which is an interesting thing. The trainer there, Kent Jensen, must have thought a lot of this horse to run him in Allowance, where he ran second, and also a Stake, where he ran third as a maiden. So one to watch. The race is back at Santa Anita last January of this year. Could win it. And as I said, Kent Jensen, a trainer to watch when he spots his horses.
Okay, we're looking at Cowboy Matt, or we just looked at Cowboy Matt. And runner number 4 again, Deputy Delegate, as we mentioned, with the very experienced Hooper board, Tony.
Yeah, Russell Bayes, that strike rate, 25% winners. Just as a comparison, we've got a few strike rates for the local jockeys here. Of course, Larry Cassidy, he cracked it for the ton through the week, more than 100 winners this season. He's got a strike rate of 19.2. Damien Oliver, a strike rate of 18.4. And up in Brisbane, Jimmy Byrne, a strike rate of 14. So how good is this guy, Russell Bayes? Strike rate, 25%.
1 in 4 winners is a very, very consistent performance. We might take a look at the leading trainers at the Golden Gate Field Circuit for you now, and these are the latest standings we do have. And we might get your help here, Joanne. We've got Jerry Hollendorfer, 23% win strike rate. Mark Glatt has a 21% win strike rate.
Jerry Hollendorfer, consistently one of the top trainers, not only up in Northern California, but he's usually somewhere in the national standings, which is quite a feat for a San Francisco trainer to be up there. Jerry is one of the hardest working trainers you'll see at the barn, somewhere between 3:30 and 4 o'clock every single morning. One quick thing I'd like to point out on Chuck Perry's horse, the number 1 Cowboy Matt, is that this horse looks to be the speed, can get out there in a fast pace of 22 and 2, 46 and 1. This is a race, though, where nobody really has much speed, no natural speed, no horse in here that always has to go out there. They're adding blinkers on the 1 Cowboy Matt today, which might help him get his mind on business and try and take that lead. He may inherit it.
Yeah, the blinkers become an important gear change, and we'll be going through those for our Australian viewers a little later on with Inside Running this morning. As far as gear changes in America, how often before the races are they notified for the punting public?
When they enter the horses, the trainer is supposed to let the racing office know of any changes, such as a gelding, adding of a medication such as Bute or Lasix, which I know you'll ask me about later on, and also the blinkers, adding them, taking them off. Even sometimes earmuffs will go on a horse if they're having trouble with the voices in the crowd as they turn for home. So those should be announced when the horses are entered and listed in the program and the racing form.
Now, the latest betting has Deputy Delegate a very firm favourite here, Joanne, too, I see.
Definitely 6-5 on Deputy Delegate, 5-2 on that 1-horse Cowboy Matt. They're not going to let the speed horse get out of their way that easily. Everybody else is pretty much in line. The number 5 Flowing Sands would be the 3rd choice at 7-2. For a very sharp trainer up there, Brent Sumja, young guy, has a good solid barn and usually knows where to place his horses. This one, another one with a little shot in here.
We've got 2 minutes until post time. Tell us about the commentator at Golden Gate Fields. I understand he's quite an entertaining style of broadcaster.
Tony Kalo, he's no Michael Rono, let's say that. I've always been a big fan of Michael. I like the way, the descriptive calls that the Australian announcers seem to bring to us. You're going to get a more general call from Tony Kalo, but it's a good call, and he gets into that kind of grovelly down the stretch call. So you'll be hearing him in about 1 minute now.
Okay, so we're not too far away. 5-2 for Cowboy Matt. You mentioned the blinkers on. Bert Lopez in the saddle. 5-1 CI Bend. Jake Barton. 6-5 now Deputy Delegate, and 4-1 for Flowing Sands. They're the main ones in the market. Now the track, this race, 1 1/16, which is 1,700 metres, Tony.
Sure is, just over a mile. And Joanne, have you noticed any bias coming out of the Golden Gate circuit during recent days?
Well, the speed, as I said, is always strong up there as well, especially if they've had a little bit of rain. Sometimes it tends to stick a little bit better. You'll see on the track by the horses, you've got a lot of dirt turned over here. It's not as hard probably as the track here is today, but I would be watching that speed. Always dangerous, especially when you get an easy lead like this one-horse Cowboy Matt may be trying to do, adding those blinkers today.
Okay, Cowboy Matt, 5-2 as I mentioned. 6-5 the favourite though, Deputy Delegate. Post position for Russell Bay's rides. And just a couple of bits of terminology, Joe. And when you talk about a closer, is that the same as we say for a fast finisher if it's a good closer?
That's one and the same. Somebody that's going to sit back and make one big run at the end of the race.
Okay, we'll leave it with you now in the lead up to the race, and you can call them in.
All right now we're looking at the gate, so why don't we hand it up to Tony Kalo, who's probably got a better vantage point than I do as they lead the one Cowboy Matt up to the gate.
It is the Hollywood Invader, number 4, Deputy Delegate, at 3-2 on the board.
Joanne, you're hot on the audio pulse for me, okay?
You don't hear him?
All right, we're looking at a shot of Golden Gate Fields. The horse is going into the starting gate. Cowboy Matt is in. Looks like, let's go to Tony Kalo, the announcer at Golden Gate Fields, for the call of the race and the rest of the horses entering the gate.
To the outside. Just about ready for the late pick 3. And there they go. Mulholland broke outwards. Cowboy Matt is showing good early speed along with Exact Fur, and Flowing Sands attends the pace. Then we go to See a Bend inside of Deputy Delegate. Mulholland is the trailer. Cowboy Matt into the first turn with a 2-length lead. Exact Fur is second. Flowing Sands is third to the far outside. Deputy Delegate between runners. See a Bend covers the rail. Mulholland trails. 5 lengths covers the field. Opening quarter in 23 1/3 of a mile to travel. Cowboy Matt on a relaxed lead by more than a length and a half. Racing in second is Exact Fur. And Flowing Sands is 3 wide, third to the outside. Deputy Delegate is fourth along the rail, 2 from the front and 2 clear from Mulholland. A similar margin to See a Bend. Up the Golden Gate Fields backstretch, and Cowboy Matt leads by 3 parts of a leg, but Flowing Sands is inching closer in second. Deputy Delegate finds his time in third. He's 2 from the front and a length and a half clear from Mulholland, who covers Exact Fur. The trailer is See a Bend. The half went in 44 seconds. Don't know if that's right, but they're on the lead. It's Cowboy Matt. Racing in second is Flowing Sands. Deputy Delegate is third, and Mulholland's fourth, 4 from the front. Exact Fur is in front of one runner, See a Bend, top of the lane. And here's Flowing Sands now to find the front entering the lane. And he's the one to catch. Flowing Sands kicks for home with a 2-length lead. Cowboy Matt is second. Mulholland is third. Deputy Delegate beaten in fourth along the rail. Final 16th. And it's Flowing Sands on his way to victory. He crushes this group. Good effort from Cowboy Matt for second. And the photo for third, it goes to Mulholland over Deputy Delegate.
It's back up, Joey. Go ahead, Joey.
Very nice win for the number 5, Flowing Sands. As a little wide going into that first turn, but then he got good position, came on at about the 6 furlong, 1,200-meter mark in the race, and went on to tackle the number 1, Cowboy Matt, who did get that lead as we expected.
Could you repeat the placings in the Golden Gate, Joey?
The number 5, Flowing Sands with Ron Warren Jr. was the winner. The number 1, Cowboy Matt, was second. And we're seeing again Flowing Sands drawing off to win the second race up at Golden Gate.
Ronnie Warren Jr. in the saddle, and the grandson of the Almighty and recently deceased Mr. Prospect spacing him in the run to the line. You might have seen the sectionals. They got through the mile in 1:36.66. 1:11.07 the time for the 3/4 mile, 1,200 metres, half mile, 800 metres in 47.31. Just awaiting third placing to be confirmed. Number 5 first, Flowing Sands, Ron Warren Jr. from number 1, Cowboy Matt, with the blinkers added and the claiming rider on board. Now we're 12 minutes away from post time Hollywood Park, the 6th race there, the 3rd race on our coverage. And this race is over 1,200 metres, this event. For fillies and mares 3-year-old and up, they have to have been bred in California. And an interesting field. And a lot of 3-year-olds engaged here. Plenty of first starters.
6 unraced runners here, Brendan. Makes it a bit harder to sort out.
All important, the pre-race parade for this upcoming 3rd event you'll be watching from America. The full field looks this way. As Tony mentioned, 6 unraced runners. Sleep Away Camp at 7-2. Memory 9-1. Octavio Vergara. Lady de Fox, Philippe Martinez 45-1. Ying Ying. Chris McCarron, one of the big names in American riding, 5-2. Smart Wife. Corey Nakatani, another well-known name in American riding, 13-1. She's a Gamble, 19-1. Spirited Silver, Alex Solis, 2-1. It's the current favourite. And then 50-1 for Cara Noni. Over there we go to Heaven Came Down, now 8-1, Bright Magic, and Matt Garcia at 30-1. Joanne, a very interesting race coming up with so many first starters.
We do have a lot of first-time starters in this race. You may be seeing Alex Solis taking a riding double for you. Why don't we take a look at the horses here? We're looking at the number 2, Memory, for John Sadler, a good percentage trainer at 25%. Octavio Vergara, a very strong rider. This is a first-time starter. A few good works. I think the horse has a little shot, but I'm probably not going to pick him on top today. The number 4, Ying Ying, from the Richard Mandela barn. Number 5, we're getting a glance at Smart Wife, another first-time starter by present value. This is a 9% first-time outsider, not the highest you can be, but the jockey-trainer combination of Henry Moreno and Corey Nakatani, that is definitely one to watch. And take a tote look when you can. We're looking at 14-1, not indicating that they think they've got a superstar there, but I would keep my eyes on the horse. Number 8 horse, Karanane, for VJ Meyer, Joey Steiner, good rider around here. The horse had one start, was beaten badly. I would say that would be a low percentage punt play today. The 9, Heaven Came Down, by Summing, a 7% first-time win sire. Not that high again. The best work that this one has is a 6 furlong in 1:11.4, which is pretty good, but we're not seeing very good betting and wagering on that horse on the board. Bottom horse, we just had a look at Bright Magic by Prized, a very good turf horse, actually, a Breeders' Cup horse out here. Prized, one of the strongest first-time out win sires you'll find at 20%. That is one to watch, and need to take a look at the board. We're looking at 30-1. Warren Studi, probably not indicating that he's got a superstar again if you're looking at 30-1 out on the board. The horses, I think, are...
Price stands Southern
Yes.
Hemisphere in New Zealand, and he's been well received here. He had a stint in Japan as well. It's good to hear there's positive raps in your part of the world for him.
He's done extremely well as a sire of first-time starters. So I would normally watch any horse that he sends out at 20% winners, but he's not getting much of a look on the board. The works are very slow on this horse, so if you have the slow works and no tote board action, probably not going to be a winner today. The horse in here that does have the speed, one to watch, is that morning line favorite with Alex Solis, the number 7, Spirited Silver. This horse can get out there in 21-3, 44-2, third in only one start from the rail, which isn't where you want to be again. So moves out in the gate this time after a bad break last time. Could see some improvement there.
Joanne, tell us about the sire of the first two favourites here, Pirate's Bounty.
Pirate's Bounty, you see him saddle a lot of horses that have speed, and this horse does have speed. He's a nice California horse. Here you're getting a look at the number 10 again. As far as contenders go, I would have to take a look at the number 1, Sleepaway Camp. It's a horse that I liked going in, a first-time starter for a very sharp young trainer here, Marty Jones, no relation, but Marty is a 20% trainer. This horse has a 59-1 work and is getting well bet. He's a 6-1 on the morning line, 7-2 right now on the track. Bertrando was a very strong runner we had here, 19%, way up there as far as his first time out winners. One to watch. The only negative would be the rail. The number 2, Memory by Memo. There are positive stats on this horse, but limited. That's all I can say on Memo. He was a decent horse around here, but hasn't sired a lot of horses. John Sadler, again, a very strong trainer. Ying Ying, I mentioned the number 4 for Richard Mandela, one of our top stakes trainers around here. This horse had some fast fractions in the first out, but rated in the next 2 starts. So I don't know if they're trying to teach this horse to rate, what the deal is. I wouldn't expect to see the number 4 Ying Ying out on the lead. And what are we looking at here now? It looks like the number 2 Memory for Vergara. So it's an interesting race. The number 1 Sleepaway Camp has drifted up to 4-1 now.
Now this is a 6-furlong event, 1,200 metres. In metric terminology, they start in the backstretch again, Joanne. And you mentioned perhaps the rail draw with post positions, or as we'd say, barrier draw. Isn't that good? You'd rather be a few post positions off the fence?
It's not horrible at 6 furlongs. When you're out of the chute, like that 7.5 furlong or a 7 furlong, even a 6.5, you've got that temporary rail to contend with. At 6 furlongs, because Hollywood Park is a very large 1 1/8 racetrack, you're not going to really be at that temporary rail. You're kind of starting right on the edge of that oval, so you'll pretty much leap out of the gate and be right on the backstretch immediately. So it's not as much to contend with as it would be out of the chute.
6 minutes until post time for this upcoming race. As far as betting moves go, the 7's been very firm. Spirited Silver did look good when they paraded, and there's runner number 8, which is interesting runner, granddaughter I should say, of Halo, another one of your great sire influences as they head out towards the start. Now the surfaces of how you rate your tracks at Hollywood Park, it's rated as fast today?
It is rated as fast today, yes, and they've been running fast fractions all along.
They become the all-important aspect, and I suppose for first-timers in Australia, when we go through the form for this, it becomes the work becomes the all-important aspect. Now, Chris McCarron and Corey Nakatani are 2 very well-known jockeys in America. They're up there in the elite band.
Chris McCarron and Corey Nakatani are 2 fabulous riders here, and what they do really well on are the turf, the grass races. So you'll be seeing both of them in a later grass race on today's card.
Do you often see much of a split up between turf and dirt, or horses that race on both the dirt and the turf?
Well, most of the horses here in the States start out on the dirt. Some of them you see breeding right away, and you know that that horse is probably best suited for the turf, but you're not going to see that for a while. So they'll usually make a switch, sometimes a couple of races into their career, sometimes way down the line. Cigar, a famous horse here, one of our winningest horses in the United States, started off as a turf horse, changed to the dirt, and had a huge streak of wins. So you see some changeover at different times in their careers.
It was very interesting tonight. Tony and I were actually just doing some notes about Cigar. It was incredible how he first went on the turf, and then on the dirt it was just a totally different story.
Well, that's right. He was the most famous example of all that, wasn't he, Brendan? And of course, another horse sired by a dual hemisphere stallion in Palace Music.
It was such an exciting
You guys
racehorse,
are
wasn't he,
taking-
Joanne?
You guys are taking so many of our good sires. Between New Zealand, Australia, and Asia, we don't have much of them left around here.
Well, the Japanese are taking a lot of your good horses. We're getting quite a few. We have Woodman comes down from Ashford in Kentucky each year. He's probably one of your best. Timber Country comes down from Japan.
Woodman, I saw him actually when I was living in Kentucky about a year ago. So I think Sunday Silence, who was one of our good horses, is over in Asia. So you're taking some of our good ones. Hopefully you won't hurt our breeding market too much.
We share them though. We only
I'm
borrow
being
them for 4 months of the year.
Looking at the number 8 here, Kara Nane. A horse that I don't really care for today. Again, the 7 Spirited Silver, if pressed, will be my selection, hopefully getting out there on the lead. Who do you guys like?
Well, when they paraded, Joanne, I thought 3 took the eye. Lady de Fox, She's a Gamble, 6 and 7 Spirited Silver, whichever way they finish. I know the 3 is 70 to 1, but between numbers 6 and 7, we could have a bit of luck. 6 at some value odds. They just look good when they paraded. Tony, what did you like?
Yeah, I'm with you, Joanne. Spirited Silver, apparently a very nice run first time out. She had a lot of speed, so I'll cop your tip, Joe.
A little note on that number 3, Lady de Fox, the sire Video Ranger, although a good horse around here, has not been a very good sire. 6% only in first time out, and the mare, Lady's Exclusive or Excuse, this is her first foal, so no reading there. It looks like she might be up against it today.
Okay, well, I just thought it may have taken the eye. There's She's a Gamble, number 6. Does look well, just getting a bit warm up around the neck as it trots around with the lead pony to the start. And number 9 on screen is Heaven Came Down. And 18% win strike rate for the jockey aboard Heaven Came Down.
Heaven Came Down with Garrett Gomez. He's a very good rider. This horse is a first-time starter with a 6 furlong work, as I mentioned before, in 1:11 and 4, which is very, very strong. Summing, only a 7% first-time win sire. Maybe you'd want to look at this one down the road, but he certainly wouldn't be without a shot, and he's coming down a little bit, as you mentioned, 7 to 1 now on the board.
Now, Michael Rona, former Queenslander, is now your full-time caller at Hollywood Park.
He is our full-time caller, came here again. He started out many years ago when Marge Everett brought him in and took off, went to Chicago, a few other racetracks, and is happily ensconced in Santa Monica, California by the sea and calling again at Hollywood Park, one of the best announcers in the country, in my humble opinion.
And has he brought any Vegemite for you to try?
I actually did try it. We were all at a bar once down in Manhattan Beach, and they forced me to taste it. And I guess I need to develop a taste for it, maybe like caviar, but it wasn't quite my thing, I'll tell you that much. But the horses are going